Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the rise. Mr. Wall Street, Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the rise. Mr. Wall Street.
Yeah, my portfolio's diversified. Ain't got long money, your dough is circumcised. Vested in Euro yens, cop the Euro Benz. Used to have that white girl, you know that European. You something like a boss, even when the mic goes off. We good, my vested in Microsoft. They say patience is a virtue, we understand that. That's why it's cake up in my circle. And I'm climbing the charts, Dow Jones, victory lap. Then I get my bow on. While you chase bank, I'm up in Chase Bank. I live on Dun and Bradstreet, and I should thank Frank.
My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the ground. Mr. Wall Street, Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the ground. Mr. Wall Street.
Yeah, I'm on that money horse, American Express. Debitors, buried in your debts. I got a new, her name Merrill Lynch. She got me hooked and addicted like she was heroin. Bad credit, no credit line. You eating off your baby mamas, that fat line. You dudes are starving, no dinner time. I'm eating sirloin steaks and sipping better wine. I hang with brokers, they watch my cheddar climb. His shadow government, the Moorish paradigm. And this is for my legacy. I'm Mr. Wall Street, my money never sleeps.
My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street, Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street.
I hustle hard, I'm on my job. I got a new connect, his name Charles Schwab. Old money mixed with new like a Rothschild. A Gordon Gecko with no financial lockouts. If I'm boxed in, then we gon' box it out. Like Mayweather versus Pacquiao, but I ain't backing out. I'm weighing in just to lay it on his chin. Plus it's a cash bow. Fat shouts to Michael Milkins, my stock market rap milking that cash cow. So how rich can they truly be when we were shown our vast estates by no Pajou Ali?
Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street, Mr. Wall Street. My hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street, my hustle get this money till the day that I die. I don't want half, I want the whole damn pie. You can see it in my eyes, I'm hard on the grind. Mr. Wall Street.
Goldman Sachs.
Hey now. How is everybody doing? Coming at you live with Pip Talk. It is Mr. Wall Street, the world-renowned Mr. Wall Street. Give me 1 second as I set up my charts. Let's see here. Okay, so we're going to get straight to it. The market has given us some very, very good movement over the last couple of days. Wednesday was a pretty good day for us. Today we had nat gas news that came out. But for starters, we see that there's nothing that we need to worry about as far as anything rattling the market. Okay, let's move to the one thing I do see here. Bitfinex, operator accused by New York of $850 million cover-up. It was an attempt to hide an apparent loss of $850 million of commingled client and corporate funds. Ooh, it's not good. Something I'll have to probably read into later. Going into our calendar, looking at the news for today, you can see that we had a light day for news. We did have some core durable goods news coming. It came out at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. But outside of that, there was nothing else that was significant. We did have nat gas news that I talked about for those that trade in the commodities market. You did have some movement there. But outside of that, let's get straight to it. Now, one of the things that I wanted to get to is I know some of you guys are familiar with harmonics and harmonic scanners, and we had a deep bat pattern here on our harmonic scanner, one of the products that we have within the trading community here at IML. And one of the things I like is, I like when, I'm able to do my analysis and plot some of these different things. And you can see here, it's nice to have a platform that's going to plot this information for you and save you some time. I take the RSI off. We don't really need the relative strength for what I'm trying to show you here. But you can see that we do have a nice entry at 66.44. There was a nice little move here, a nice little area where we're taking a short position based off of the bat pattern actually completing and forming. If I was to go here into our charts, you can see the USD, put onto a 15-minute, and voila. And you can see I actually had something there kind of measuring that move. Get rid of that. And let's use a quick little rectangle just to identify our whole little area here. All right, so you can see that this area was a nice little area of significance that, we definitely wanted to pay attention to. It didn't quite get all the way up to 66.45, which is the area that I would probably more than likely have liked to short it at. One of the things you do have to watch out for is the footing that the price has formed at 66.33. So keep that in mind. But outside of that, you did have a nice little bit to go off of there. If I were to take this, and you can see on the 4-hour, it is pretty nice. I really do like it more on the 4-hour than I do on the 15-minute. You could actually have taken the trade shorting it up there, or you can short at 66.25 if price breaks below this candle and creates a bearish engulfing pattern. Maybe something similar to what you see right here. If we can get that here, it'd be nice. It's also very similar to what you see here. Okay, so we want to see that bearish engulfing. I'll give you another example here. Okay, if we can get that pattern right here, then it will be a nice ideal showing that the bears are wanting to continue to the downside. This will also be a lower high, so it's looking pretty good. Now let's take a look at the indicator here and see what we can drum up as far as where the action is. It's very important that we look to relative strength, okay? And a lot of you guys, when you're trading these things, you're probably wondering, okay, well, how do we know that the indicator is accurate? Some of you are probably saying you go to the indicator all the time, and we want to know what it's based off of, why it's something that you're focused on, and et cetera, so on and so forth. So let's take a look at FinViz. We're going to go to Forex Performance. Okay. Now, if I look here, you can see that the New Zealand dollar is the strongest currency today for the one-day relative performance, and the yen is the weakest. Okay. So that means if we go here to our indicator, it should be New Zealand yen. Where is that? At the top, there you go, New Zealand yen, okay? So this is because the New Zealand is the strongest, the yen is the weakest, all right? Now we go back, you see here the pound happens to be the second weakest, while New Zealand happens to also be the strongest, you can see here. So we got the second weakest currency against the strongest currency. And I'll bet you this is the third one, euro, okay, will be the third weakest against New Zealand, again, the strongest, all right? You can see here, euro being the third weakest against, and there you have it, okay? So, and when it starts to get closer in, that means they're close in strength and weakness, so they really won't show up. You'll notice that there will be no dollar Swiss on here showing, anywhere for that matter. If I put up USD CHF, enter, you'll notice that the dollar Swiss is actually all the way at the bottom because it's really not something that would truly, all right? But it doesn't show up on the weekly as I stated. So let's start with, now that we see that it's just about accurate, let's start with New Zealand yen. And New Zealand yen's looking pretty good because you can actually see that it's showing on all pairs. And we've got 4 red, 1 green. It's actually one of the best scenarios that you can get. I'll say it again, it's the best scenario you can get on my indicator because it's indicating that the market is fully bearish, but we're getting a pullback, okay? Price is rallying into an area where you should be looking to sell, okay? So if we were to go in here and we take a look at New Zealand yen, nice. So you see that we're getting a pullback, right? Into what? An area we should be looking to sell. You can actually see inside here, that area right there. Make that red. So that's the area that we're looking to short in. And you can actually, if you want to be a little bit aggressive, you can take it even there where you saw a price kind of peak into already. All right, so that's an opportunity for us to short there. Okay. Let's see what our higher time frames are saying. Whew, it's pretty ugly. Keep in mind, you do have a trend line right here. There you go. Make sure it's lined up proper. There we go. All right, perfect. So if I make this a little bit bigger, you can see that we do have some room from where current price is at all the way down to that trend line. It's about 72 pips, okay? So for those of you looking to trade on a smaller time frame, there's a little bit of room. The momentum is shifted to the downside for the bears. There really is no real trend that's making me too excited about it. But again, I don't have much in my way, with the exception of this trend line here. There is this low at 73.90, but it's not much. Now, if I'm looking at the daily, you can see the daily, the trend line's pretty close. I do like the moving averages here. That means if I was looking for price to rally up, the ideal place where I would probably look to take my trade be right on in up here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna recycle this other one. Okay. And then we'll take this one, we'll move it up here. Give it some room. So it's right above the moving average. All right. So let's move this in place. So that's probably the one that I would be focused on if I were you guys. If we look at the move with the fib tool, you can see it's a 50% retracement. I'm going to add in the other levels. So we got a 50% retracement. So that area is an area that's pretty significant. It's a good area. You'll also have your moving average inside there. If price continues to give you that rally to the upside, as you see that we're getting now, that would be where I would be looking to enter my short position. Anywhere in between that 70, 74, 78, 75, 10 level, okay? Pound New Zealand. Look at Pound New Zealand. You can see it's only on one time frame. You look here, it's green. You look here, it's green. It's pretty much all we need to focus on. So I would be looking to go long, considering price is moving back into an area where we probably will be looking to go long. So if you want to do a breakout trade, you could do a breakout trade where you're taking and going long above this candle here, considering we have a consecutive move of red candles to the downside. Do I really, really like the move, trading it inside there? The only thing that would make me feel excited about it is the fact that we have this floor here, okay? This whole area where price is just choppy, moving up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, down, bam, then pop through. And then all of a sudden, what happened? We come back, we're here. You see, we're having trouble getting back through. All right, so just know that there's something significant at 194.33. If I go back to my weekly, you can see that there was a lot of moving averages in here. It kind of kept price from getting to the downside. Plus, we've been really choppy over the last, few weeks. So the last couple of months, it's just been nothing but Christmas tree action. You go to the daily, does the daily give us a telltale sign? No, it doesn't. Okay, so the fact that we're moving today and it's giving us a significant movement, it doesn't mean that the chart's going to give us something that's in unison. But I will say this, I really, really, really like where we're sitting at right now, okay? This is almost like a floor, okay? It was a ceiling, it was resistance before. Now that we're above it, it is support, okay? If you take a look, it was an ascending triangle at one point. Okay, and if I take it in a little deeper to the bottom of the candles or the base of the candles, there you go. All right, so this is if we draw the base of the candles, the base. You can see that there's not only a moving average, but a trend line there, okay? So price made it through, okay, broke through, went up a bit, rallied, got a rejection off of what you see here as far as this price action here. It's almost identical, okay? It didn't quite make it to the high, but you see it got rejected off there, and then now we're bouncing back on. So for those that are looking to go long, if you get any kind of bullish action, all right, where this candle turns around and ends up being a bullish candle, or let's say it closes bearish and then the next one rallies and takes out the high, that is something that you can consider, okay? Let's go to Euro New Zealand. Only thing is it's sideways. You can tell it's sideways when you don't have it showing up on most of the different time frames, because it's close together on mostly all the different time frames. They're all weak. Okay, Euro's weak, New Zealand's weak on mostly all of our different time frames here, except for on the daily. It happens to be moving with great momentum. So red, green will be bearish. I'm telling you, it's probably not going to be too much of a trend though. It looks kind of similar to the last one you're just looking at. So I'd like to see a little bit more of a pullback. And if I get price to pull back, ideal area would be in here, okay? Get our stop loss just below there. Okay. So this is the area where we would look to be long. It's pretty sweet. For those of you that are looking to short, I'm not too excited about shorting until I get to see exactly what our trend is telling us. But you could look to be short up here. All right. Let's go to the weekly. We'll see what she's saying. Oh, wow. Ooh. Both of them are viable. I mean, if I were you, I would be more inclined to short up here, but it doesn't even look like price may even get back up there. You see that topping tail where we formed the candle. We've got one more day in the week, and then this will be a bona fide topping tail, one of the best candlesticks, and it's in a very nice area because if I make this a little bit bigger, you can see the little subtleties in price. So this was a lower high relative to this high, okay? And then, and then we have another lower high here, okay? This is a lower high relative to that one. Now on to our lower lows. Price gave us a low here. That low was initially the one that broke through, actually, the first lower low was here, okay? It broke through there, or even, my apologies. There was a pivot here. When price broke through there, it gave you your first lower low, but it settled down here, okay? So we had a pivot there that was formed. Price broke down, didn't really settle until it got down there, okay? So that's the lower low. And this is the lower low relative to this lower high, or higher low. My apologies, okay? So we had a lower low here, first one, relative to the higher low. And then here's a second lower low. That second lower low is what created the trend. Now, just so I don't confuse you, I'm going to get rid of this one. And now the only ones that truly matter are these ones, okay? Lower high relative to this one, second lower high relative to that one. And then we have our first lower high, lower low here, second lower low. This is the first lower low. So I would like to be shorting up and in around this area. If I did take and go long here, just keep in mind that you're kind of sitting around and in the middle of that particular area there. Looking at the daily, what is the daily saying? Yeah, the daily's not that bad. It's not that bad. You can actually see some confluence with the trend line there. If I were to extend this trend line, there you go. So price could very much well come on in and then bounce off of you see the area in there. You do have all of this, all that footing there where price had trouble getting below. It created a double bottom there and then finally broke down, could not hold, and then we see a push back to the upside. So we'll see what happens as price comes back down, but there is some confluence there, and you can kind of see as you look a little deeper. I wouldn't be looking to go for too much if I was taking the trade here and shorting. I wouldn't be looking for too much of a move as far as to the upside. Maybe my target's there and I'm out. And I'd like to reset just in case we've seen some more movement. New Zealand Swiss. All right, so we're green, we have red, and then red. So we'll look to be bearish, hoping that it's moving into a nice area where we could find somewhere to short. Oh, yes. Ooh. And I love it when I have a consecutive move of the same candle in the same direction. You have all this up here where it's a nice little ceiling. If I cleaned up the chart, let's start from the beginning. This whole area up here is sweet. You can, and if you want to be politically correct, you can put it up there. So we're shorting in here. This area is all bearish territory. It's bearish territory. Okay, so price gets inside there. You can look to be selling at 67.79, preferably 67.80. That's on a fulcrum. Moving all the way on up here to our weekly. So you do have bullish candlesticks, but remember, it's choppy inside here. The weekly isn't giving me much that I can really go off of. Where are we at relative to a curve? It's kind of in the middle. It's not much I can say from the weekly. The daily does have some confluence though. I really do like. There we go. Okay. So you see here we have 3 points, actually 4, where price, if it comes back in there, there's a trend line sitting right smack dab in the middle. You also have a moving average. Whenever I can find these little hidden jewels, they are good. And look at the intersection there, where price intercepts. That's sweet. It's perfect. You couldn't ask for more. All right. Right there. Perfect. All right. So if you're going to look to short, this is your area. This is your sweet spot. All right. I would even like to take a snapshot of it. If I were you, I would take a snapshot of it because this is definitely something that we could see a nice movement in, bar any news coming. And there's really no news in its way from now for the next few candles. You could see that there's something coming out on the 30th of significance. But moving along, I want to just kind of take you down to obviously our dollar yen, just moving away from the indicator just a bit. Going straight to dollar yen. We talked already about this. Price has not really made it down here to this area. I'm going to kind of keep that just as such. You can see that it kind of did exactly what I said, where it came down a little bit, okay, and then rallied up, went up a little higher than I expected, and then you see where it moved down to the downside. So we're seeing it, break down a bit. Let's get rid of these. So for now, if I was looking to take a short position, I would be more so up here. You could short inside right here. You see this ceiling here, okay? And also price came down. There's some unfilled order flow inside here. Probably maybe not much left. I can bring this down just a smidgen. Come on. Yeah, there we go. So you can see exactly what I see. You're golden. Okay. You see price came in, went below, didn't quite push all the way through, so we'll see what happens. If it keeps bouncing off and headed to the upside, don't be too excited to short just because you see this trend line and price reacting off that trend line. Core Aussie dollar. Same thing, what we saw earlier still applies. Prices just kind of moved further to the downside. We have been respecting the 8. If you get price to close above the 8-period moving average, again, it could signify that we could be closing the gap between these two moving averages. It's pretty much of the same. Remember, this is an area where it's had footing. Every time price got down there to that 70, the 70 cent level, it's bounced off and went back to the upside. So if it holds and actually closes below here this week, it could be something very significant, showing that we're ready to break down to the downside. If we don't get it to close above, which it's above right now, then it could creep back up, at which point you could find yourself shorting in the area that I gave you. And I'm telling you, I really did like this short up here, the 71.20 area, right around there is just really amazing. For those of you that are moving fast, I apologize. I see in the comments section some of you are saying I'm moving a little fast. I'll try to slow it down. So you can see in our daily, that area was quite amazing. It actually broke through. If we can get it to come back up, bounce off there, we get a nice little bounce back. Let me go to my 4-hour and just show you where and what I'm looking at. So my area is here. Okay, I would like to short in that area there. If price can make it back up there, I will look to short. If not, you may get just a little pullback. Price hits off the moving average and it gives you a move back to the downside, because we haven't broken the 20-period moving average just yet. Look at dollar CAD. You can see we have been respecting the 8. Haven't quite got the pullback that I'm looking for. Some of these things have been kind of quiet. So now that we've kind of moved above our 134.50 area, that was a little bit area of significance to us. I would look to see price come and settle back in there. It's relatively our 326, 50% fib level. Right there. I said 326, I mean 382. So 382 and 50% fib retracement levels, exactly as I said. So it's right inside there. This is a sweet spot. You have the moving average, unfilled order flow coming out of this explosive move, and then you also have the 382 retracement. So if it gets in that area, you get a nice little candlestick formation, nice little bullish engulfing or a bottoming tail, I would definitely take advantage. Dollar Swiss, polar opposite. It's just a bit choppy right now. Let's move into some crypto. Okay, so Bitcoin, if we look at Bitcoin, we're headed, to the weekly, okay? We came off a nice move a few weeks ago, and now it's just been kind of waiting for the moving averages to catch up. You see some area here in the 5,790 level. Price gave us a little bit of a trouble getting above. We didn't quite make it there, but we did slow down. But look at the daily. You can see that on the daily, we got another higher low. That's very significant. considering, you see here, okay, we got a higher low, the first one, then the second one here, and then our third one here. Okay, so, and then the higher highs. So if price can rally up to the upside, or even at the very least just close with a candlestick here that's engulfed most of the previous day's candle, it's a bullish sign. We're also holding on that 21 period moving average, starting to form a healthy trend. Now we head back to that 4 hour. Again, if it completely wipes out that candlestick, then we'll see what happened. This was a pretty good move down to 5,000, right close to 5,000. And then you could see price rebound to the upside. Now, what did it bounce off of? Look at this floor here. Look at this explosive move there. Hard to plot that inside there. Okay, price came back inside there and then it popped out. That's because that area was an area where most people were waiting to buy. It was an area where they're saying that Bitcoin was a pretty good buy. But we also understand that if we understand that Bitcoin is decentralized, Bitfinex had a scandal. So we want to make sure it's not just the Bitfinex charts, but it's also on the other charts. The Coinbase. Yeah, same thing. All right. Moving on. Ethereum. Let's clean up the chart. Now Ethereum has a nice little move here inside there, but I mean I'm more so bullish on these cryptos right now because I mean, to be honest, we're starting to see some life in them as they move to the upside. Let's go back to the weekly just to see kind of where we are. If I make this bigger, you can see the uptrend is forming now, as well as the trend line. Okay, so price flattening out, the moving averages are flattening out. After being above price, they're starting to make their way below price. We'll see if price can start to grow its legs to the upside. The bulls have a little bit of trouble in terms of getting above this area of congestion. That's a lot in their way. So if they expect to move to the upside, they're going to have to get past that 168, 170 level. Okay. Let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin looks pretty good. You have a flag here, ascending flag. Hold on, come on, right there. Make sure we're connected right. All right. I'll connect this one all the way down just for the purposes of making it work. All right. So you can see a pop up and then price give us a little consolidation. So if I had my way and I'm expecting it to move to the upside, you'd wait for it to break out. Once it breaks out, I'd expect a nice explosive move, at least upwards to about 86, 85. Okay. Now, could get some consolidation again before it ends up Been choppy, and then popping. Just look at euro yen. One of the things I really, really, really like about euro yen is this range we've been in. Ever since March 1st, we've been inside this range. And to make it more correct, bring it down here, okay? So you can see that it's been pow, 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 pow. Every time it comes down here, it's popped to the upside. Every time it's up here, it's made its way to the downside. So what do you think you should be doing as price gets further down here to the bottom third? Yes, correct. I see a lot of you are typing in long. Let's go to our 4-hour. And you can actually see you got a nice little bottoming tail there. Okay, this is a very nice little candlestick there. And you can see why price kind of bounced off, but not only that, it's very parabolic. Okay, that move away from the 21 period moving average, it kind of got away. And when you see a move like that, you expect it to snap back. In this case, this is a nice little area for price to rally to, and then you could short if you would like to short in that area there as well. But then you want to keep in mind that you're at the bottom of that range. Sorry, it's on the daily. You want to keep in mind that you're at the bottom of that range on the daily. So if you do look to short, you really don't have your location on the higher time frame in your favor. All right. Same thing applies on the weekly. You can see we're at the bottom of that range. If you're going to be shorting, short up here. All right, so that would mean that I would be looking for something to short up here if I was to short. And that's far away. There's nothing you can do right now, considering the price is nowhere near that. So if you're not going to go long on euro yen, I would avoid it entirely. I want to look at nat gas. All right, so if you look here, you can actually see nat gas had a nice movement today based off of news, and it was very volatile. Pushed to the downside, then it pushed to the upside. We didn't quite make it up to this area here, but that area is the area that I would be looking for action if I was trying to short nat gas today. It got close. I mean, it just kissed it just by a smidgen. Oil, nat gas, and also on some of the U.S. indices, I'll use limit orders, but I have to be right there if I'm going to place it. I'm not going to blindly place a limit order and then just walk away. But you see that we're in a downtrend. What's significant is that we got below the $2.50 level. What was a very significant level, or really $2.54. We're at $2.50 right now. The $2.54 level was a significant area for us. You can also see the price got below that trend line there. Okay, we had a trend line, rallied up, broke through it, and then what happened? You got a little bounce, and then we're seeing a move to the downside. Let's blow that up a bit so you can actually see it. So if you look here, from your point of entry, so far we've seen about 399 points or ticks, what do you want to call it? We're talking about a CFD. So this one's pretty good. I would say that, you know, it's too late to try to enter now. Wait for some kind of pullback. But nonetheless, it's looking pretty good. Let's make this auto scroll. So you still have something in some unfilled order flow inside there. My next area of significance would be here. Okay, if I get price to pull all the way through, that looks significant. Okay, for U.S. oil. So U.S. oil, we had a nice explosive move to the upside. I would be looking to short based on where oil is. It's kind of parabolic. If you see where, 1 second here, guys. Hold on 1 second. All right. So you can see it's very, very parabolic. Price has actually moved away from each one of our moving averages. And then now we're seeing some bearish candles to the upside. If I go here to my daily, we've been respecting our moving average. We have a healthy uptrend. But if I were to look for a point of entry on our daily or a 4 hour, I would short up in here. Okay. Wait for price to make its move back up. And then you can take it on down. Your target, first target would be right around there. All right, 63.98 level. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to cut it a little bit short. I wanted to talk about a special offer that we had. And then we'll cut it short today. So we've got a special offer. For those of you that have not signed up to our course, I want you to just go in and you can see the offer that we have inside the chat box. If you haven't already signed up, we're running a special promotion. All right. For those of you that are watching the video, you can go to mastermarkets.io. That's mastermarkets.io. You can sign up for the Platinum package. We've got the Academy full of all kind of educational videos and resources that'll help the beginning and advanced trader, whether you're beginning, advanced, or intermediate. IML TV, the TV is there, the channel for you guys to be able to tune in multiple different languages. One of my favorites, one of the things that I used earlier in the session was the Harmonic scanner. If you look, you can see the Harmonic scanner is a very powerful tool. I'll leave it up here, okay? Harmonic scanner is something you definitely want to take advantage of. And we also have daily swing trades with Chris Terry. So again, for those that have not signed up, take advantage. It is mastermarkets.io. I've had a blast. Until next time, this is Mr. Wall Street coming to you live with Pip Talk.